welcome back, Alaji. That was very, very educative, talking about the roots of our party and our antecedents. Now I want to zoom in and focus on a particular area that you are known to have played a critical role, the NDC and Zongos. Because we cannot talk about the NDC and Zongos. Anytime I go around trying to do some research, your name keeps popping up, and that of others, of course. So, how would you describe the relationship between the NDC and Zongos at the inception of the party? How did it all happen?
Yeah. You know, like I stated earlier on, when I moved to the Sabon Zongo and we started moving Nima, Edap, I remember Alhaji Mama Idrisu, Dr. Muhammad Ibn Chambers. They were going into the Muslim community, the Zongo community. So sometimes I accompanied them. And I remember there was one issue when they came to Sabon Zongo to meet the then chief. And he told them...
Our own Dr. Chambers.
Yeah, Chambers.
He was then AUUN.
Yeah. He was then the deputy foreign secretary, that's deputy foreign minister. So this chief said, look, anything about Jerry doesn't want to hear. I said, why? See, Jerry demolished our central mosque. That's what you call Rollins Park today, the old central mosque. So Alhaji said, okay, fine. He went and do some consultation. He went and came back about a week later and told the chief that former President Rawlings, JJ as we call him at that time, has promised that if the party is formed and he became the civilian president, he would give another land for national mosque. And we started from there. And I remember in 1993, the first Muslim Thanksgiving service at Abu Sultan. Rawlings was there with Alhaji, the late Alhaji Mahmoud Bamuya, who was then the Council of State Chairman, Udu Aya, and others.
That's Vice President Baumia.
Yes, father. Yeah. And Mr. Isifo Ali, the chairman, and Jerry asked a committee to be formed. And finally, that's what we have this Kanda Mosque. And then we started moving to the regions during the Eagle, identifying certain
prominent and influential.
In Accra here, there was one ZB Shadow.
ZB Shadow.
Shadow. He was the national organizer of Young Pioneer during Nkrumah's regime. He became the Greater Accra Regional Organizer of the party, with Afote Agbo's father as his deputy.
Okay. So Nilai Afote Agbo, former MP for
Katamanso, yeah.
His father became a deputy Greater Accra
Regional.
Okay. Lion, we call it.
Yeah. And then we have one Alhaji Adamu Nobel from Newtown here. He also became the vice regional chairman, Greater Accra. And of course, the late Yaya Seidu, the first MP for East Ayawasu, the late Ismail Abawa, who were living in the same house. He also became the first MP for Ablekuma Central. And then Said Sinari, Central Ayawasu.
Our own side Sinari.
Yeah, Said Sinari, Central Ayawasu. And
Dr. Farouk Brahma.
Dr. Farouk Brahma, he was with the Eagle. Okay. They went with the Eagle Party. Then when you go to Volta region, in fact, there was a gentleman called Alai Denjima. He became the whole central constituency organizer when our brother Ofiato was there.
He passed away not too long ago.
Yeah, he became the regional chief imam. Yeah.
I know him
very well. Died as a regional chief imam for Volta region. Then when you go to Eastern region, we have this Alhaji Zakari Tanku, who played very major role. And he also became the regional treasurer. You understand? And one Malam Alhaji Mekano, the GPRTU chairman in Kofodia, who was also a Zongo chief in Ejoso, Ashanti region.
It's very popular.
Yes.
Very sure.
And then Kumasi, we have Alhaji Bala Plywood. In fact, when we went to the Kumasi to launch this party, we can't get a venue. But he was associated with Asante Kotoko, that man, prominent businessman. So we were able to get us the Center for National Culture in Kumasi to launch the party in Ashanti region. And of course, our Alhaji Sofo, who also became the propaganda secretary. Then in Buru and Hafu, we have one Alaji Dauda. I remember my first time in Sunyani, as a transport officer at the party, I was taking some vehicles. The late Ajay Mensah, who was the chairman and later became the MP for Techiman now. I think the daughter is...
Who is now the
MP.
Honorable Elizabeth.
Yes.
The father.
Yeah.
Was
and then also Achampo, who was then the regional secretary, regional minister then. And then Alaji Kuju Muhammad, the late.
Yeah.
Akeda. And these are some of the people. And then in Western region, we have our brother late Alhaji Mama Azakis. He died, I think,
a couple of years ago.
No, I mean last year.
Yeah.
He was the first regional organizer, became the regional vice chairman. And one Alhaji Adams, he was killed immediately after the 92 election, the first election. He was burned.
Oh,
yeah.
That burning.
Okay. You see,
I remember that incident.
You see, so I was like going around, Elvis.
I mean,
you won't believe it.
I feel like clapping for you. I mean, you have all these names in your memory.
I used to drive from here to Bolga, no stop with Niva. Midnight, Niva vehicle. At the party, there's one guy, Balu. Soldier.
Who became the prof.
Yes.
I like Balu.
Okay,
Balu.
We were working together, and the history behind all these things, the way the NDC got the Zongo community. Initially, in the late 40s, when we were agitating for independence.
So first of all, there was networking, grassroots organization, getting influential and strategic people to work on them.
Yes.
Then now you're coming to the history.
Yes, the history. Okay. Actually, when you look at the Zongo community, initially, they formed their own party. That's Muslim Association Party for the Zongo community.
This was in the
late 40s.
Okay.
So they participated in the 1951 election and the 1954 election. But when Nkrumah passed a law that nobody should form a party based on religion or ethnicity, they also joined the UP. So the elders within the Zongo community, the chiefs and imam, were those anti-Nkrumah. But the youth, like I mentioned, ZB Shadow and others, they were from Nkrumah. And some of them suffered. Some of them were even deported out of the country. They were supporting Busia. When Busia got power in 1969, what happened? Aliens compliance order. And most of those who suffered are people from the Zongo community. You understand?
So the aliens, for those who don't know,
yes,
explain the aliens compliance order and what it entailed.
Most of our people, sorry to say, were not educated. Because when you say alien, and you look at the Constitution, even at the time, the first Republican Constitution, anybody who was born here is a Ghanaian. As I speak to you, my grandfather was a soldier from Nigeria, brought here by the British. And he was in Gambaga, and he married there, and my father was born. 1892. Are you going to tell me I'm not a Ghanaian today? You see, but they didn't know. Their properties were taken away from them and things like that.
So the aliens compliance order was a law passed by the Busia administration. Is it the UP or PP?
Yeah, this is PP, Progress Party.
And that required that those who supposedly were not Ghanaians had to leave the country.
Yes.
So many people, and that is out of ignorance, Lebanese,
Yorubas,
Hausas, they all had to leave. In fact, they were forced out, and their properties and businesses and assets were confiscated.
Yes. So by 1979, I'm just summarizing.
Yeah.
When the ban was lifted again, that word was used against them. That's why you realize that in 1992, my father was a UP person, very staunch UP, very, very staunch. But before he died, he told us, at this before, he shook his head. He was about 100 years old, there are some prominent people in Accra today from the Zongo community that their fathers also suffered. So in 1992, that thing was still fresh in our minds. So when we go there, we tell them. And that's why you realize that there are certain constituencies in Ashanti region that NDC have never lost before. You can talk of Ejiro Chidumasi. It's predominantly Zongo. The Asawasi, even when it was Asqua East. And you come to Accra, NDC have never lost East Ayawaso. Today is a North Ayawaso. So it's as a result of all this stuff that they haven't forgotten. But today, the younger generation don't know.
We'll come to that. So what about the Rollins factor? And then what did the NDC or PNDC do that also endeared the people to the system?
Okay. Again, when Nkrumah was in power, he realized that the Muslim communities don't go to school. You understand? Except few. And he realized that because, as at that time, most of the schools are mission schools, Roman Catholic, Presbyterian, Anglican, and things, and there were conditionalities. You understand? So Nkrumah decided that, okay, why not? The Makaranta that we had as Islamic school, let's bring teachers. You know, it didn't work. Achampon tried it, but Rollins did it in 1987 when he introduced Islamic Education Unit at Ministry of Education. And today, even in Greater Accra alone, we have more than 44 schools under that. If in Greater Accra, I don't know nationwide. You understand? So that thing shows that Rollins mean well for everybody. I think you understand what I'm saying.
I get it.
That's number one. Number two, if you remember, in December 1993, Mr. Peter Alajete, the former speaker, went to Supreme Court and challenged the celebration of 31st December as a holiday. And he won the case. So there was a need to revive all the holidays, look at all of them. And Rollins insisted that Muslims in this country also deserve a holiday. So we work on it. I remember I went to this chief imam, the current chief imam, was then acting to meet Justice Anna about the holiday. Finally, we had two holidays, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. In those days, if you are a Muslim and you have a son, and he's going to write his BEC exams, and it happened on Eid day, would you go to the Eid or go and write the exams? I think you understand what I'm saying. You see?
Yes.
So now it's a holiday.
It's a holiday.
There was a chief in Sabon Zongo. When we were campaigning for this holiday, we went to him. He told us in the 40s, he used to work with the PWD. On the Eid day, he has to go and thumbprint. Come back, dress and go to Eid. After the Eid, he go back to work. So Rollins took that in.
Interesting. So you have the two holidays that were given to the Muslim community, which still stands today as one of the major contributions of the PNDC, NDC, and then the establishment of the Islamic Education Unit at the Ministry of Education, which is still there today.